Okay, welcome everybody to my session about PowerShell. As you can see, I have exchanged the logo here from Pop Forum to E2E Virtualization Conference. So being compliant with the new CI. This session.
Raise time.
Oh, what?
You need a time.
Why is that?
Yeah, because corporate design, conference, without time.
Oh, I'm okay with that. Just to introduce my company where I'm working for, we are a small company in Switzerland where I'm living. We are 14 engineers, just serving our customers with system integration. We also do custom software development. Our main focus is on RDS, Citrix products, of course, and system center management. I spent the last 5 years introducing PowerShell on the customer side, managing products using this technology. And what I wanted to do today is not to make all of you to PowerShell pros, so 45 minutes is too short for that, but we're going to do a short introduction. So that would be the agenda for the next 40 minutes. An introduction to the PowerShell, what it is, what it can do for you, a really basic syntax overview, so you can take the examples within this presentation at home. You can try it in your lab. So we're going to then, through each of the products listed here, how we can manage these products using PowerShell, how we can automate things easily with one-liner or a few liner scripts. And to be real here, I took some examples out of my real life. So I tried to not to search for examples where you can read in books, but there's nothing to do with the real environment. So I thought about my real experience at customer side and picked up some examples which you could probably use in your environments or in your projects. Well, let's start with CLI. Are you using CLIs today? How many of you guys are used to PowerShell? Oh, quite more than zero. That's good. How many of you already developed own scripts and handed out to customers? Okay. So what I'm going to do is a really short introduction about PowerShell. My first impressions about PowerShell were in 2005. I visited the tech days of Microsoft. And there was a guy named Jeffrey Snoover. He introduced us into PowerShell. The code of the new shell was Monad this time. And he showed us a shell where I had an impression like being in a Unix environment but having .NET framework. It was quite interesting. So we saw the shell and thought, well, not too bad. Finally, a replacement for the old school CMD. But nobody of us thought that it would involve that fast and changing our administrative life, our administrative daily life. But now we are in 2010, 2011, something has changed. A lot of products are being managed by PowerShell, and not as an add-on, they are being managed primarily with PowerShell commandlets. So we'll see afterwards why that, how comes. PowerShell is currently in version 2.0 and is included in 2008 R2 and Windows 7 by default. So you don't have to install it. If you want to use it on other operating systems, recent operating systems like Windows XP or Windows 2003, you can install it as an add-on. It's available for download. You can find it under WinRM. So don't search for PowerShell, search for WinRM downloads, because the PowerShell is a part of the WinRM framework. PowerShell is 100% based on the .NET framework. That means that you can access each .NET namespace, object, class out of PowerShell if you like to. It's object-oriented. It's an object-oriented shell, not only an object-oriented scripting language. So almost everything can be threaded as an object. We'll see that in a short time. If you have questions, because time is so tight, if possible, write questions down. At the end, we will have some time to answer questions, and if not, just drop me an email, or we'll have a discussion afterwards, or tonight at the bar, whatever. So PowerShell is using commandlets. A commandlet is just a small program, in fact. It's mostly written in C or C#, compiled and loaded into the PowerShell environment. There are some basic commandlets which are available if you just open PowerShell. There are some snap-ins from Microsoft. A snap-in is just a collection of commandlets, in fact. So if you install or if you add a snap-in to a PowerShell, that only means that you're adding more commandlets to the PowerShell environment. Let's take an example. If you open a PowerShell session, how many of you guys have PowerShell on your laptop now? I hope everyone. So just open a PowerShell session.
I have a Mac.
Well,
I must go to the room. It's my
there is no Power Mac shell. Just start up your Windows VM. Yeah, open the session and type get-process. That's in fact a commandlet. A very easy one, but a very handy one. We'll see this afterwards. What we see behind the get process here, is it readable from the colors? Yeah, almost. We see a pipe. Piping is very essential in PowerShell. What piping means, it hands over the output of a command, or the result of a command, to the next command. So if we could do a get process, we will see all running processes in our environment currently. We hand that over to the pipe, and after that we're going to select the properties of the whole process object. So we just want to see the name, the process ID, and the virtual memory consumed by this process. And then we're going to filter that. We're going to hand the result again over with the pipe, and we're going to filter that where virtual memory consumption is greater than 100 megabytes. So that's an example how a commandlet can be handed over to following commandlets or to filters or whatever. So there's not for anything there is a commandlet, but you can write your own C# code within PowerShell and use this as like it would be a commandlet. The example below shows you that a environment around a print server environment does not have a commandlet base. So unfortunately Microsoft did not write any commandlets yet that provide you functionality in PowerShell managing printer queues. But as you can access the whole .NET framework, namespace, classes, and so on, you are able to reference the .NET framework system printing namespace into PowerShell. And that's what I've done in the second example. I just referenced the system printing class as an assembly in PowerShell. After that, I have access to the whole functionalities, methods, and so on of the system printing class. If you look at the architecture of PowerShell, On the base, from bottom up, we have the operating system. Then on top of that, the .NET framework, it's well known, of course. And on top of the .NET framework, we have the PowerShell. And if we look at the products right on the top, we have some products which can be managed using PowerShell. Now, as I mentioned, things have changed. The difference between the 4 products on the left side and Zendesk 5 is that you're using mainly a graphical user interface to manage SAMP. You're mainly using graphical user interface to manage provisioning services. And the PowerShell thing is just an add-on. So you are mainly using the GUI, but some things you can automate and script by PowerShell. If you look at Zendesk 5, the architecture is completely different. The architecture regarding management of Zendesk environment is 100% based on PowerShell commandlets. So if you open a desktop studio session, it's going to load you the PowerShell commands to display the farm, your Zendesk farm. If you're going to create a new desktop group, all which is executed behind the scene are commandlets. There's no magic behind. The GUI is executing commandlets. And that's where the difference comes from. The difference here is that you can manage everything, every single step you have to manage in a Zendesk 5 environment from out of PowerShell. There's a drawback, because I think that's guessing from my side. Because Microsoft and Citrix in this example just focusing on managing products using CLIs, they didn't have enough time or enough energy or whatever to develop a graphical user interface on top of that, which is capable to most of the management function. The result is that, for example, you can create a new desktop catalog, you can create a new desktop group, and as you press the finish button, there is no way to edit that in the graphical user interface, or just partially. I'm not happy with that, because my customers, they are absolutely not CLI aware. The classical Windows administrator searches for the option to edit the catalog, and it doesn't find it. Okay, that's reality today. We have to deal with PowerShell. And really, that's basic. You can take this slide afterwards at home, wherever. It just covers a few of the important basic syntax characters. You have to know them. You have to get used to, because if you don't, you are not able to write your own scripts. Well, you are not at least able to copy and paste and adapt PowerShell scripts if you don't know the prefix for a variable. It's always $. Be aware of those brackets things. These brackets are different. While you can see that I don't know the names for the brackets in English here, but as you can see, they have a different behavior. Some are marking the beginning and the end of a condition, like if, then, else, whatever. Some others are surrounding a complete set of instructions. So if you have instruction 1, 2, 3, 4, and you want to pack this together, it's the, I don't know the name, that bracket. Another crazy thing is the, how do we call that in English? This Anführungszeichen? Quotes. There are double quotes and single quotes. While double quotes are interpreting the content of a variable, single quotes are not. So, for example, if you type $name equals Eric, and then you type $name within double quotes, it will result in Eric. If you type $name in single quotes, it will result in $name. So it will not be interpreted. That's an important thing if you're writing scripts and the output isn't what you expect it to be. Another thing are those aliases.